What is happening, everybody? What is going on out there? Shane Sams here from flippedlifestyle.com and the Flip Your Life community. So let's get started with tonight's content. I'm going to go through a little thing I've got prepared for you guys to help you, especially the people in the room who don't have their idea for their online business finalized, or maybe you're not confident about your online business idea because you've got this idea, you kind of started working on it, you haven't really got any product, you haven't really got any sales, you haven't really got a lot of stuff out there, maybe a couple blog posts, but you're still wrestling with your idea, okay? Now, we've got a lot of content inside of the Flip Your Life community about how to come up with your idea, how to identify your strengths, how to get in and technically do the research, okay, on how to figure out if your idea is going to make money online, if you've got a chance to go out into the marketplace and compete. But what we really want to talk about tonight is finalizing your idea. We want to talk about overcoming all of the fears, overcoming any obstacles, overcoming any doubts or anything like that about your idea.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started.
So what we're going to talk about tonight is finalizing your idea, because your business cannot go forward until your idea is finalized, until you've crossed the line and you've made that commitment that you're going all in on your business idea and you are going to try this to make it happen, okay? You know, there's a lot of things that hold people back when they're trying to pick their idea or trying to commit their idea. You know, tell me in the comments right now, some of you probably have an idea, maybe you've started your website, maybe you've blogged about it, but you're not confident in your idea. You're not all in on your idea. You're not going full force forward and saying, hey, this is going to work. This is what's going to flip my life. Or I'm going to try this for the next 3 or 6 months and it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, well, I'll try something else. Okay. There's people sitting here right now and you may have your idea figured out, but you're looking for your next idea, or maybe your business has plateaued and you're trying to go forward. Maybe you're like Abby in the comments and you've got too many ideas, which is hilarious because that's the first thing on my list that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, Abby, is people with too many ideas. There's so many things that hold you back. So let's talk a little bit about some things that are probably holding you back. I'll answer questions about other things that you may be experiencing, that are preventing you from settling in and committing to your idea, okay? And then I'll take questions from anybody here, and I'll help you in any way I can right now tonight to settle in and decide your idea, okay? All right. So there's 3 or 4 things that we've found, after coaching hundreds and hundreds of people in the Flip Life community and, thousands of people, emails and stuff like that from the Flip Lifestyle podcast. There's 3 or 4 main things that kind of get people frozen in the mentality, how can I be sure that my idea will work? Okay. I can't tell you how many emails I get a week where someone says, well, Shane, Jocelyn, how can I be sure my idea is going to work? Right? How can I know it's going to work? And then it's almost always one of these 3 things that's making people ask that question. Have you ever asked that question? Have you ever said, oh, I've got this idea, but how do I know it's going to make money online? Right? So I'm going to talk about that question here in a second, but I wanted to cover these 3 fears that we find are the biggest obstacles usually for most people that's preventing them from settling in on an idea. Okay. All right. The first one is too many ideas, or you're scared to choose the wrong idea, or it's a waste of time, right? There's so many things and you're like, well, what if I pick this one, and the opportunity cost of not picking that one? And, I'm scared that, these are 2 great ideas. What if I pick the wrong one? And, what if I just waste all my time and move forward and, it's just over with. I've screwed it up. I missed my chance. The boat left me on the seashore and I'm done, right? That was me when I started out. When we first started in online business, when I discovered all this crazy world and I started listening to all the different people out there making money online, I had so many ideas. I had ideas everywhere. I couldn't even contain my ideas. Jocelyn wasn't on board yet. She was sick of me, coming up with ideas and telling her about, well, I heard this guy made money this way. And what if I did this? Or what if I did that? and I was totally paralyzed and I just wasn't even picking anything. Okay. So finally, one day, I had to look straight in the mirror at myself and say, oh my goodness, you've got to pick one of them. You've got to just pick it and see what happens. Because if you don't, you're never going to know. You're just going to sit here staring at a notebook full of ideas for the rest of your life while all these opportunities pass us by. Okay. So, you've heard all of our stories on the podcast about how we started successful businesses, about coaching football and playbooks and lesson plans for teachers and stuff on Flipped Lifestyle. You've seen all those success stories, but what you have not heard anywhere on any podcast we've ever talked about or any live I've ever done is the first idea that I ever tried in online business. Okay. So I had discovered keyword research very early on, SEO, and I was researching, trying to figure out an idea. And I was looking for something that had a lot of search, but not a lot of websites about it. That's where I wanted to go first. Okay. I was like, well, I'm just going to avoid all this competition. I'm going to find something somewhere that nobody knows about, right? But we all know that's not true. There's no new ideas under the sun. Everybody's tried something, and it's just your take on it is what sells. So I found this product, and I thought it was the magic bean about to grow the beanstalk, baby, the golden goose. And the keyword that I found, and it was very relevant to this time in my life. My son Isaac was just moving from a crib into a toddler bed. So we had bought this little bitty toddler bed at a used at a yard sale for $25, little metal toddler bed with little metal mattress. And because we were broke at the time, so we had to buy the toddler bed from a yard sale. And we looked at it, and I said, man, that toddler bed's dangerous. He's going to fall out of it. He doesn't know how to sleep in the bed. So we started looking up, trying to find toddler bed rails, okay? Toddler bed rails, the little things you put on toddler beds to keep your kid from like falling out of it, right? So I find these toddler bed rails. I finally get some, and I'm like, man, I wonder if other parents, I mean, there's got to be millions of kids that are in this exact same stage of life, and they're moving from the crib to the toddler bed. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, there were just thousands of searches for toddler bed rails. And I thought, I've got it. I've figured it out. But I had all these other ideas too. Like I was a history teacher. Maybe I should sell lesson plans or give away worksheets and do affiliates, or maybe I should make, playbooks, and all those thoughts were in my head. But I had this toddler bed rails idea, right? And I had to pick an idea. I didn't have much time left. I only had like a month or two before summer break was over. And I had to start trying things, or I was going to have to go back to work. Jocelyn wasn't on board. She wasn't helping. She wasn't into this yet. She hadn't seen any success or anything like that. So I had to figure out a way to sell toddler bed rails. And my grand idea was, I'll get the affiliate link from Amazon. I'll get 6%. These bed rails cost like $50. So I'll get $3. I'll go sell 100,000 of them, and I'll make my fortune selling toddler bed rails through Amazon affiliates. Now, most of you are probably seeing where this is going. I started this website about toddler bed rails. I reviewed toddler bed rails. I linked to all the Amazon things, and all this stuff happened. And, I kind of put all of this together, and nothing, no traffic. I probably spent a month, okay, setting up this site. I started blogging about toddler stuff. Like I had this website called Toddler Apocalypse. And I would just like take pictures of my kids doing stupid stuff. Like, they pull the box of Cheerios out and spill it on the floor. And then I would always link back to toddler bed rails, right? So I was trying to like blog like a daddy blogger kind of thing. And it went nowhere, okay? No affiliate clicks, no traffic, no nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. I had nothing to show for it. I had tried an idea and it failed, right? Now, this is where a lot of people are afraid, and they're saying, well, see, you wasted your time. You wasted so much time making that stupid toddler rail. You might as well have gave up because you just wasted all of your time. You wasted all the time, nothing. But that's not what I did. All I did was I identified something that failed. And I realized I didn't like this topic. It was going to be too hard. The math was just too hard to make $3 affiliate clicks and make a living online. I realized that affiliate marketing was not for me. Learned that. And most importantly, I learned how to use WordPress. I learned how to use the technology that created a website. I learned, I went through all those, stumbles and falls when nobody was paying attention, right? And it was all because I committed 100% on an idea. And I tried it for I think it was 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. And I realized quickly that it was not going anywhere. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little longer than that, maybe 3 to 6 months. But I went in and I picked an idea and it didn't work. But here's what was crazy. Instead of stopping, instead of quitting, and instead of considering that a failure, what I did was I said, no, I now know how to do this quicker. I can probably get my next site up in a week, right? I know more about SEO and I didn't get a lot of traffic on the next one, but this one post did. So I learned why that one got a little more traction than the rest of them, and my next posts were better. So what happened was I built my next website in 48 hours. I had my next idea up quickly, right? And that website was the first website that ever made any money online. That was the 11-cent moment. I had created a website about worksheets for U.S. history teachers. I was giving away the worksheets. No, not for an opt-in. I hadn't learned that yet. I didn't have an opt-in on this yet. But I was just giving away the worksheets and hoping people clicked on the affiliate links around it or the ads around it. And I got an 11-cent click. Okay. So a lot of you have heard that 11-cent click story where we proved that we could send out content and make money online. I showed it to Jocelyn. She gets on board. We both go full speed into it with everything I learned up to this point, and we create 2 websites over the next month. One is elementarylibrarian.com. One was coachxo.com, my football playbook site. And we went on to make thousands of dollars. Jocelyn launches, makes $3,000 in a month, right? I launch and we make thousands of dollars on playbooks. We work on that website for a year, and a year later, exactly 12 months after that first website crashed and burned, right? We made $144,000 in 1 month, okay? So we made all this money and all this stuff happened, but it happened because we committed to an idea and failed. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe what if that had have worked? What if the toddler bed rails website had made us a fortune? So many people say, well, what if it doesn't work? I was like, what if it did? Okay, but it didn't. But I learned, and the next one was faster. And we learned again. 11 cents turns into $2,000. $2,000 turns into $10,000, $15,000, $36,000, $144,000, all because we went from one idea to the other until something worked. And that's what you have to do to get over the fear and the problem of too many ideas. I'm scared I'm going to pick the wrong one. It might be a waste of time. That's like telling a Major League Baseball player every time they go to bat and strike out is a waste of time. But that's not true. If they hit the ball 30% of the time, they go to the Hall of Fame, right? And 1 in 100 times they hit it and it goes out of the park and they score runs, okay? But if they came back to the dugout and said, well, you struck out, you're a sucky baseball player, you never need to come back, you're done, right? That's not how it works, okay? It's going up to the plate time and time again, right? So you people right now that are looking at this big list of ideas, or you're scared that you might waste your time trying on an idea, you need to pick from one of them. And I don't care how you do it. I don't care that if you pick a piece of a dice up from a Monopoly game and roll it in whatever number is you pick. I don't care if you flip the coin in your pocket and you make the decision between 2 choices right now. You've got to commit tonight to your idea. One of them, doesn't matter, that you're going to go through and follow through with it. And you're going to learn all of this stuff. And you have to come to terms and come to peace with yourself that it might not work. And that's okay. My first idea that I tried did not work. Okay. The second idea only made 11 cents, right? But the third idea made thousands. The fourth idea made tens of thousands. And then we doubled down on that when we found traction. And that's what made hundreds of thousands and led us to the life that we live today, where we make good money online, where we have, a private lake and all this nonsense and stuff that, it's just all there because of that first idea that failed. And you've got to go to, okay? You've got to pick your idea. You can never know exactly which idea will work. And that's why it's so important to try them and put them in the marketplace and let people vote with your wallet. Okay. The question says, how do you know when to let go of an idea that's not working? How long do you hang on? There is no answer to that question. There's no possible way that I can answer that. There's no best practices that say, well, 8 weeks is good for the health niche, but 3 months is really where you need to be for wealth and prosperity. Like, there's no way to know that. But it's kind of like one of those things, like, you'll know. You know, when you became a parent, you didn't know how to get your kid to sleep through the night. You didn't know how to potty train a kid. You didn't know how to do those things. You didn't know if it was time to potty train. You didn't know when it was time to put the kid in the room by himself. You just you feel it, right? And that's exactly how online business works. I could feel that toddler Bedrail's website, I could just feel there was nothing happening there, right? But as soon as we got Elementary Librarian up and running, and here's the deal. When we researched Elementary Librarian, it had terrible SEO and search results, guys. Like, it looked on paper like it was not going to be a good pick, right? But we knew that it was something that we could really go all in on. And when we launched that website, we could tell something was happening. The Facebook posts were spreading, right? The email list was growing. The surveys were being answered, and we just could feel it. We just knew that it was happening. All right. So that's the thing. You've got to go into the process, and you've got to be in the mud and the muck and the weeds, and then you will know if things are working or not, right? And you will know as you're getting closer to the tipping point, and you will have data to show to the community and to show to us and to show to everyone else, hey, is this working? Am I feeling it, right? We've had members, guys, that have came in and got nothing for a year, 2 years, and they just kept blogging and blogging, and finally that one post hit, that one video went, their email list finally grew, and all of a sudden they've got 50 members paying them $50 a month, right? So it's one of those things you've got to start to see. You just got to go and know, right? When I was a football coach, I always would go into a game with a game plan, right? And I would always go into the game plan, but sometimes at halftime we would throw the game plan away because it did not work, right? And there were some football games, some Friday nights where, 2 plays in, I knew the game plan wasn't working. There were other ones where it kind of worked in the first quarter, but as the second quarter went on, we started getting beat, And sometimes you had to throw it out in the fourth quarter. You just had to play the game. You had to get off the bench and into the game and out off the sidelines to figure it out, right? And that's the only way you're going to know how to do it, okay? So thing number one that's holding a lot of you back is you got too many ideas, right? And you're scared to choose the wrong idea because you're afraid to waste your time. Well, I'm telling you right now, you have to stop. You have to stop tonight. You got to go out and try it, and you got to figure it out, and you can't be scared, and you got to keep pushing and not assume that one weekend it's not going to work. If you start tonight and you go to Flip Your Life Live and you stay with it for another month or two, you're going to have a lot of good data to make a good decision, right? But if you sit here tonight and you don't pick your idea and you just keep wrestling and shiny object syndrome and making excuses, then you're going to show up at Flip Your Life Live with nothing. And that's not what we want, okay? At least pick your idea. And remember, the other ones are going to be there for you, okay? Let's assume we're all going to live 20 more years, okay? You could try 20 ideas a year at a time. It's okay. The internet's not going anywhere. The world's not going to end right now, as far as we can see. If you try one for 6 months, you can try another for 6 months, then try another for 6 months. Over the next 2 years, you could try 4 ideas. And I don't think there's many people in here with more than 4. I hope not. We got to weed that down if you do. Okay. Now, the second thing that we find really holds people back, and this is going to be some other people in here too. Okay. The second thing that we really see holds people back is this fear of being expert enough, right? Oh, who would listen to me? I'm not expert enough. I can never, do what you guys do or say what you guys say. No one would ever listen to me because, I'm just not expert enough. I mean, I don't have the PhD. I don't have the degree. I don't have 20 years of experience, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now some stories that will prove you wrong. Okay. Because if me and Jocelyn could make millions of dollars off of what we sold, you can too, right? Because Jocelyn had only been a librarian for 3 years when she started elementarylibrarian.com, right? And she didn't even go to college to be a teacher. She was an MBA dropout. She had a corporate job, right? She had this corporate job selling commercial dishwashers. And I was a football coach in college, and it was a really hard life. She was on the road a lot. I was on the road a lot. And we decided that we wanted to have a better life. We wanted to be together, okay? And we had to change what we did. So I went back to school to be a high school history teacher. She went back to school to be a librarian. And you know why she did it? Because she liked to read. That was the whole thought process behind becoming a librarian. And we thought, hey, we could have the same schedule. Maybe we could get a job in the same district. We'd work together, right? So she had been a librarian for 3 years. But I can tell you right now, hundreds of librarians from all over the country, people with 20, 25 years experience, bought Jocelyn's lesson plans because she put in the work. She put in the research to make sure that her lesson plans were the best in the world, right? And she had enough experience to go. But then all those people bought them. But guys, there's new librarians every year, new school teachers every year, every time. So there were hundreds, thousands of librarians that had 2 years or less experience. Jocelyn was way more expert than all those people. And those people coming right out of college, she was way more expert than all those people, right? And then Jocelyn got her 4th year of experience. Now all the 3 years and less, she had more expertise then, right? And she was in the classroom every day. You don't have to be in the classroom 20 years to figure it out, right? She knew what the problems were. She knew what she couldn't find online, and she filled void in the marketplace. Do the same thing, okay? Same thing with me. I was a football coach. Yeah, I coached college. I coached at West Virginia. I coached at Eastern Kentucky. I was a head football coach. But the first year I coached football, I was 0-10, right? 0-10. We got running clock. That means the other team scored more than 60 points on us 8 times the first year I was a head coach. Now, I know that there are probably more people out there with better records than I had my first year as a head coach, okay? So I had to develop an offense and a defense that would let me win with really bad players. We had really low numbers for a school our size, really, really slow, bad players. Nobody had any talent. And I had to come up with a way to win. The second year, we won 2 games, right? And then I moved to another school, and we went 5-5. And we turned that program around, and we won 8 games, okay? So all of these things happened, right? If you look at my resume, I went 0-10. Best year was 8-2, made the playoffs. I mean, that's not Super Bowl. That's not state champ. That's not whatever. But guess what? That year, when we improved that program, we moved things and we saw that progression. How many coaches out there, if I said, are you 0-10? Are you 1-9, 2-8? Are you 3-7, 6-6? Maybe you're 5-5. Well, I've got a process that I've used to get teams over the hump so you can have a winning season. How much better would your life be if you just had a winning record? You're not trying to win the state championship. You might not even be trying to win the district championship. You're just trying to go home on Friday nights happy more times than you don't, right? That was my pitch. That was my sales point. So every football coach in America that had a worse record than I did in that last year, every one of them, every coach in America who had a losing record last year is now my target market. And I was expert enough than all of them because they were having losing records and we had turned them to go. Okay. Mike, don't worry. If all my old players are listening, any of my old players are listening, we told them how slow and bad they were, and they knew it because they were getting beat 60-0 every week. And that's why they work so hard in the weight room, because we said, guys, you're terrible. We got to get better. Let's be realistic here. I shoot straight with you, right? You are slow and you are way too big to be playing the position you're in. We got to get you faster and leaner. So that was part of the process was the weight room program. Y'all know what I mean? All right. So I've been a straight shooter my whole life, Mike. I'm going to shoot straight with you guys. I'm going to shoot straight with my football players. I'm going to shoot straight with my kids. I'm shooting straight with everybody. That's just the way it goes. That's what Shane Zams does. All right. But the point is, you are always expert enough if someone is behind you in the journey, if someone's behind you in the process. And 9 times out of 10, you don't need any fancy degree or certification to teach something. An analogy that I always use is if you are broke down in the desert, right? And you got a flat tire and you don't know how to change a tire and you don't know you don't have the gear to change a tire, and somebody runs up to you, they drive their car up and they say, hey buddy, I know how to change that tire. You don't look at that person and say, yes, but are you a Goodyear certified mechanic? Because I am not letting you touch my car if you are not a Goodyear certified mechanic. If you're not a mechanic, how much do you charge? If you don't charge at least X dollars, you're not expert enough to change my tire. No, you are broke down in the desert with a flat tire and you are going to die. Okay? You're going to die because you're have a flat tire. You can't change it. This dude can, right? So you're going to let that person change their tire. You're not going to say that. He has the solution to your problem. And if he gets out of his car and says, I'll do it for $25, you will gladly pay him, because once again, you can pay him $25 or you can die in the desert with your flat tire. Okay. That dude's expert enough. It doesn't matter if he's the expert, he's unexpert enough to solve your problem. If you can solve someone else's problem, you're expert enough. Okay. You just have to know more than them. You need one more rung on the experience ladder than they do. Right. Okay. Now you have to be true. You have to have integrity. You have to go out there. If you're one of the, you can't go out there and say, I have never made money online and I will go teach people how to make money online. No, right? You can't just pick a niche. Like I couldn't be a basketball coach and then out of nowhere say, you know what? I'm going to make some football playbooks. That doesn't make sense, right? You have to be in your space. You got to be in your lane. But if you know it, right? If you know it, then you can show it. You can tell people. You can give people the information and the teaching stuff that they need. So don't get caught up in all these degrees and all this other stuff. You don't have to have any of that to teach people stuff, as long as you actually know it and you've actually done it and you can go out and prove it. Okay. Nobody has to certify you. Nobody's got to give you a PhD unless there's some kind of law that requires it in your field. Right. But you can go teach people anything you want to teach them, and you are expert enough. Everyone in here is expert enough to teach someone something. Okay. If anything else, anybody 10 years younger than you probably don't know as much as you do about something. Right. You've got people that you can teach stuff to if you'll just get over yourself and quit using that as an excuse, because it is an excuse. Not pulling any punches. You're scared to put yourself out there, so you've convinced yourself that you're not expert enough, even though you are, right? So you've got to tell yourself, I am expert enough, and that's the way it's going to work, and I'm going to go teach these people things. Okay. All right. So expert enough is a big problem. So if you're out there with too many ideas, you're going to pick your idea tonight. Love you. That's what's going to happen. Okay. If you are scared of being expert enough, I promise you there's somebody else out there teaching in your space that is less qualified than you. That's true in any space. So you need to get out there and you need to teach people. Okay. And the third big thing that we hear, and these are the top three things over years of doing this, hundreds of people. The third thing I hear is, well, I've got an idea, but there's just too much competition. It's too late. Have you ever thought that about your niche? Have you ever thought that about your space? There's just so many other good people doing this. There's too much competition. I just don't know if I can, I would never be able to come. It's too late. The ship has sailed on this niche. This niche is totally tapped out. This niche will never make money for anybody else ever again, because Guru X, Y, and Z and Expert 1, 2, and 3 they got it locked up. They've just got it locked up. No, that is not true. First of all, the only reason you think that is because you are so close to your industry, you see all the most successful people, and it's intimidating you, right? That's what's happening. You think it's so full, but if you go out there to all the people searching for information in that space, 99% of them don't know about those experts. They don't know about those other people selling things. They don't have a clue, right? It's just like if you think of the most famous people in online business, like I could go up to anybody in America and with a 99.999% chance, and they would not know who Pat Flynn, Tim Ferriss are. They wouldn't know it because they're not in the space. If they just discovered online business, they would not necessarily know who, Tim Ferriss or Pat Flynn are, even though they're the two of the most famous people in the space, right? It's even worse in your space because none of our spaces are as popular as that. Like if you're going in to teach somebody like how to play guitar lessons, well, there's probably 100 people out there doing it. There's a lot of competition, but I promise you the people looking for guitar lessons, they might know about one person, but they don't know about the other. And they definitely don't know about you. And they don't know about this guy. Right. So your job is just to be found and get seen by some of those people. You only need 100 people to give you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year. So if there are 1 million people looking for something, guitar lessons, then you don't have to have all of them. You don't got to beat the competition. You don't have to be the guru. You need 100 people. That's all you need. You got to get 100 of them to find you and figure you out. That's it, y'all. Okay. So competition is nothing. Like Jocelyn and I entered one of the most competitive spaces. The make money online niche is so crazy. You look at it and you're like, why would anyone ever even try? to make money in that, right? And it's not just the make money online thing that we compete against. We compete against MLMs. We compete against any online, any Shopify stores, anything where you can make money at home. That's basically our competition, right? And you'd think, oh, it's watered down, it's this and that. But no, we have a vibe. We talk a certain way. We do things a certain way. And we went into the market and said, we don't have to compete and beat everybody. We just got to go find our people, right? And we found thousands of them. And you will too, if you'll just quit looking at the competition and start looking in the mirror. When you look at the competition, it's scary. But if you look in the mirror, you figure out I can only control what I do. I can't control my competition. I can't control their prices. I can't control if Google shows my competition to somebody else first. I can give myself a better chance, but I can't control it. I can't control that. All I can control is that I get up every day and I consistently make content. All I can do is that I have a well-defined avatar. All I can control is that I put out great courses that actually help people get results. I can control all that, right? And I can control my marketing. I can control that I'm brave enough to go out and buy Facebook ads, okay? I can control all that. I can control the interactions I have with my people when they find me, right? I can control the message in my marketing, but I can't control a single other thing outside. So why even worry about the competition? You just got to go straight ahead and run your race. You just got to do it. You got to go, okay? So competition is irrelevant. Guys, there are 5 billion people on the earth. That is an astronomical number. That is a number you could never count to if you started today and counted to the end of your life, right? That is an astronomical number, an unbelievable number. Like there's barely even a small percentage of people that even have that much money, right? Let alone how many people there are. And you need like 100, 200, 300 of them. The competition is an excuse. This is not like a small town where you open a gas station and Jim Bob opens the gas station across from you, and now you compete against Jim Bob on gas prices, okay? That is not how the internet works. You are putting your website up, and 5 billion people connected to the internet have a chance to find you if you're consistent and prolific and you be you and worry about you, okay? So you need to get over your fear of competition. Competition is irrelevant. In fact, you can even get competition to help you and sell each other stuff. We do it all the time. That's why people let us go on their podcasts, because they want us to come to them. It's a good guest for them. Their podcast gets popular. That's why Pat Flynn's had us on twice. That's why John Lee Dumas has had us on twice, because you get a good guest that makes them look good, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of work together like colleagues instead of competition. Okay. We have a couple that came. They used to be our customer. They mentored under us. They came to one of our live events. We've been in and out, and talked to them a lot over the years. They have a brand now that is exactly like Flip Lifestyle, except for vibe. Okay, like we're Southern people, they're Northern people, but they're a couple. They got 2 kids. They're doing the exact same thing we are. Okay, now you would think, oh, well, we helped you, we brought you up, and now you're selling the same thing we are, doing the same thing we are, talking about families and stuff like that. No, people will like them that don't like us. We're going on their podcast in like a month, right? Because we want to help them support their podcast and support their mission. It doesn't matter. Competition, you got to let it go. You got to let it go, okay? There's only 3 things that really hold people back. You think you've got too many ideas and you're afraid you're going to pick the wrong one. Well, the only way you pick the wrong one is if you don't pick anything, because anything can work at any time, and the only way to know for sure is to create it, okay, and try it, and then pivot if it doesn't work. Number 2, the expert enough fear, right? Everyone in here knows more than something else. Think of someone in your life that you know more than, right? Everybody right now has got somebody in their head. Think of a friend. Think of a family member. Think of a relative. I don't care if it's your kids. You know more than somebody about something, okay? So identify that and go find a lot of those somebodies that don't know what you know and sell them the thing they know, okay? And number 3, competition. Like, can't be afraid of competition, guys. The internet is too big. You think that you're seeing spotlight syndrome. You've got tunnel vision just in your niche, and you think everybody knows about the expert. But that's not true. Those 3 things, if anybody's dealing with those tonight, you're going to pick your idea. And you people that are here, I see a lot of people who are more advanced than people who have a business with maybe 300, 400, 500 people on their membership already. Like this all applies to your next idea, right? If you're about to charge a high ticket product that's like $2,000, this applies to you. Like this goes to that, because the next level is just as scary as the first level. Okay. You know, as Jocelyn, think how scary it was for me and Jocelyn to write our name on a check, or on a contract, and commit to an event that costs tens of thousands of dollars. Like we had to commit upfront before we sold a ticket for Flip Your Life Live Nashville that we were going to pay up to $100,000 for this event. So we had to commit to that. It was scary, but that was the next level for us. That was our idea. And the only way we were going to know if that idea worked was to put our name on the dotted line and go out and try and sell the tickets. Okay. Like we tell you all the time that this was at a break even event. Like we put $100,000, we pushed it in the table and we bet $100,000 that we could sell out Flip Your Life Live. And we did, but we didn't know that for sure. Right. Because it was a big ask. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to just, if you have a big plan or a big idea, something next, the only way you're ever going to know is to go. And like we had a friend that did a live event that was like Flip Your Life Live, and she did it and lost $30,000 on it. I don't care how much money you make. $30,000 is a lot of money, right? You don't want to lose $30,000. And so right when we were about to sign that contract, our friend lost $30,000. We were like, oh gosh, you gotta be careful here. But no, that was our next level. That was the big idea. I got some stuff. We had something we worked on today. Jocelyn and I did, and it was a $10,000 idea. Like every one thing was $10,000, and we're like, how are we ever going to sell this thing? But we're going to do it. We're going to try because it's worth it for one thing, and that's our next level. That's our next idea, and we can't let nobody's going to buy it. Expert enough. Are we really there yet? We can't let that stop us. We got to try. You've got to pick your next idea, and you've got to commit to it right now, and you've got to build it up and get it in place. Your first idea, your next idea, whatever it is. And then when you look in the mirror and you say, how can I be sure that my idea will work? You've got to look back and say, you can't know for sure. You just have to choose your idea. You got to try it out, and you got to see if it works. Because what's the worst thing that happens, right? What's the worst thing that happens, guys? Well, it's not working, but now I'm confident that this idea doesn't work, and I will try one that will probably work better. And you can't say to yourself, what if it doesn't work? You got to look at yourself and say, what if it does? What if it does work? What if it does build a list of 10,000 people and 1,000 people join your membership at $50 a month? What if that does happen, right? You won't know until you try it, okay? All right, guys, I hope that, or tonight, I hope that, we have talked a lot about the big fears that hold people back. I got too many ideas. Pick one and then pick the next one. I'm not expert enough. Yes, you are, period. Okay. And then the third one is like competition. I'm scared of competition. Stop looking at the competition. Look in the mirror and look at your to-do list and take action on it. And pick your idea. Just pick. It might not work. It may not work. I'm telling you, that's okay. It's okay. You just do the next one, and that one may work. And the first one might work good. Who knows? You don't know until you do it. Okay. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope this helped you guys. I want to see in the forum some people posting ideas. And I'm not just talking about the people who are just starting out. You people that are in here that have an advanced business, I want to know your next idea. I want to know how you're taking it to the next level. You're not going to Flip Your Life Live to stay the same. You're going to change your life and take everything to the next level and move your family forward into your future. That's all that matters in your life right now, is to give yourself a chance to succeed. Give your family a chance for a better future by taking action. And your action tonight is picking your idea. Okay? This is it. And let's go for it. And we'll make it happen when we get there.
One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe, download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcasts. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.